Like, how can it be that I work out, 5, 6 times a week, but I have low muscle mass? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Curiosity Class. Today, I want to talk about macros, macronutrients, nutrition, and obviously, I am not a doctor. This is not medical advice. I don't play one on the internet. So that being said, let's talk about medical stuff. Just kidding. No, I just wanted to share what I've been doing macro-wise because for those of you that I see in real life, you will be annoyed by this because I was probably talking your ear off in recent in-person stuff. But I've been on a bit of a macro kick, and I know I'm about 20 years late to the game. But I consider myself someone who's who cares about fitness a lot, and who cares about like health and wellness a ton. And yet, I've never really thought about what I ate in any deep sense. And so recently, I've been for the last 3 months, coming up on 4. I've been tracking and weighing and measuring 90% of the food that I've been eating. And so I just want to give a quick breakdown of like what macros are, how they work, and like what I've been seeing as a result. So this all started because a long time ago, actually, I read one of Tim Ferriss's books, and he talked about this thing called a DEXA scan. And I actually don't know what DEXA stands for. It's DEXA. And it basically, you go in and they have these clinics all over the country, and it's about $60. It's not covered by insurance, so you just pay cash. I don't have an affiliation with this company, but the company that I use is called Body Spec. I'd love to get the founder on to Curiosity Class, actually. So if you listen to this, you want to come on, can't wait. Love to have you. This company is called Body Spec. They have clinics all over the country. You make an appointment. It takes 12 minutes. You're in and out. It's super quick. And you go in and you lay down on this machine, and there's a scanner that kind of scans your body from head to toe, and it gives you a very comprehensive report of how much your bones weigh, how much fat you have, how much muscle you have, how much your organs weigh, what your bone density is. And it's considered a very in-depth, I think it's the most comprehensive way you can view those numbers, right? Like maybe you've seen one of the scales where you hold the bar and it has like electrodes that send a current through you. That's probably not right, but it does something with electricity, and then it's supposed to, measure your body fat percentage. I think those are fairly inaccurate. So a DEXA scan is one of the most accurate ways to understand how much muscle you have, what your total weight is, how much body fat you have, what your bone density is, etc. So I read this in Tim Ferriss's book, like probably 10 years ago, and I was always fascinated. And for some reason, I honestly don't know why, or maybe my wife found that they had DEXA scans like in Austin. And I was like, wait, that's really cool. I'd love to do that. So she got me one as a gift, and I went and did it, and it was fascinating. It was super, super fascinating. So I learned that I had low muscle mass relative to my body weight, right? So it resulted in a larger body fat percentage as a percentage, obviously not on a relative basis. So I was like, that's so interesting. Like I've worked out my entire life pretty much, like since I was 14 years old. That doesn't really seem reasonable. That doesn't make sense. So then I started getting into like, okay, well, what am I eating? Like, how can it be that I work out, 5, 6 times a week, but I have low muscle mass? Like something's not working. And so going back full circle to, I've never really thought deeply about what I've been eating. I've kind of gone through phases where it's like, okay, I'm doing only whole foods, or mostly vegetarian, or trying the organic thing. And I never really did keto except in college. And I was like, I get to eat salami. But I never took any of those very seriously. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to my brain really likes having these like exact measures. So I kind of think of this as like bookkeeping for your food, right? So it's like, how can I measure my cash flow, but for my calories? So my brain really enjoys this process. But basically, I've been taking all of the food that I eat, and there's a lot of apps that help you do this, so it makes it pretty easy. MyFitnessPal, Macro Factor, etc. You scan the barcode or scan a code on the nutrition label on the food, and then you weigh it. And so this is for everything. So it's the amount of oil that goes in your pan. It's the grams of blueberries that you have with breakfast. Whatever it is. But I'm just trying to weigh everything that I can in order to get an understanding of, okay, how much protein am I actually consuming in a day? And so the general rule of thumb is you want to have between 0.8 and 1.2 grams of protein per body weight. right? So let's say you weigh 200 pounds. I'm not going to do public math here, so thank you, calculator. So 0.8 grams of protein times 200 pounds of body mass is 160 grams of protein per day. Okay. For if you're going to do the 1.2 grams of protein times 200 pounds, that's 240 grams of protein per day. So what I started out was I was like, okay, I'm not going to change my diet at all. I'm just going to take a baseline of where I'm at. So what I did was I didn't change anything about what I was eating. I just measured it. And so I realized a couple things. One, I was eating a lot of calories throughout the day. Like I was eating close, I think 2,800 calories. And I was getting like 30 grams of protein, maybe 40 grams of protein. So I was like, wait, this is so interesting. So I realized that my protein was way low relative to the amount of calories I was eating. Or just low in general, actually, not even relative. Because I was eating non-protein dense foods. So a lot of carbs, a lot of fat. Like a typical meal for me would be like a salad with zero protein. It'd be like roasted sweet potato and feta and olives and spinach or whatever. So what I would think of as healthy, but not actually protein. There was like no protein in it, maybe a little in the feta, but it was kind of eye opening to me. So I was like, okay, I'm going to really focus on protein. So I like worked with Claude to help me figure out like, okay, how many calories I need to eat, what percentage, like how much protein should I have, et cetera. And so what we came up with was this plan to try to reduce body fat for about 2 months. And then, so that would be in a calorie deficit, and then start to increase calories to put on muscle. So that would be a calorie surplus. So it's been really interesting because I've learned so much about food and macros and et cetera in this time. And so basically, the question I had, which I think this is another interesting part, is everyone talks about a calorie surplus or calorie deficit. Well, that's all based on something called your maintenance calories. So essentially, if your body burns a certain amount of calories on a typical day, right? And there's not exactly a great way to calculate what that is. There's like, if you go online and you do like your height and weight and like your age, et cetera, it'll give you a general baseline, but it doesn't go super deep. So the best way that I've found, and if anyone has a better way, please let me know. But the best way I found is to kind of like pick what you think is reasonable and then just track your weight every morning at the same time. And if you're going up, you're in a calorie surplus. If you're going down, you're in a calorie deficit. And if you're staying the same, that's probably your maintenance calories. So I kind of did that and found where my maintenance level was and then dropped it like 100 calories to be in a slight calorie deficit. And then it's so fun because then I get to like figure out how to fit protein, fat, and carbs, which are the actual macronutrients, protein, fat, and carbs, into what I eat in a day. And it's been super fun because, yeah, like I said, I get to kind of figure out, it feels like bookkeeping, but it's like cash flow for calories. I think that's what I'm going to call this episode, cash flow for calories. But I get to figure out like, okay, how can I fit different things into the day? And the cool part is you can eat anything you want, right? So like you can have Ben and Jerry's. That's totally fine as long as you hit your protein levels. And so it's really fun to like not feel, oh, like I can't have that. Or like I did no sugar for a while. And this feels much less restrictive because as long as you're hitting your protein goals, you can eat whatever you want. Well, I have celiac, so I can't have bread still, but you can eat anything that you want to eat that you're not, that your body is not allergic to. So that's been super fun. So that's been what I've been doing for the past, couple months. Oh, and then the coolest part is I got another DEXA scan 2 months in, and you can see the results and the changes that like you've been doing. And so I didn't really change my workouts that much. I just changed my diet, and there was a pretty substantial change in my DEXA results. So I'm really excited to go back in a couple months to see what it is again. Also, what a great business is this DEXA scan company. Again, Body Spec, would love to get you on the program. That'd be awesome. Because it's a great model. It's like their clinics are fairly small, so their rent must be relatively, not a lot. The machine costs 10 grand, and I don't know how much it costs to pay the operator, but I don't think they're doctors. I think they're people who are trained in, specific DEXA technology. They also have mobile vans, which is awesome. So they send these machines to like places that don't have a clinic. If they get enough interest, they'll send it to a more rural area. And so they have these all over the country. They're booked up like crazy. If you go on their website, literally the appointments are 12 minutes and they book them every 12 minutes. And so I think at peak, if every slot is booked, they're seeing like 66 people a day or something. It's amazing. It's a really, really cool business. So that being said, I am excited to get another DEXA scan in about a month here, and I will let you know how the results go. And that is all for this week. I will see y'all next week. Bye, everybody.